So if you're one of the 500,000 people who've subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for your subscription. This video is about the play button that I made to celebrate this milestone. I selected a piece of apple wood from the orchard of my friends Steve and Julia. I picked a piece of log that was not only interesting in terms of its colour, but was kind of oblong in cross-section, so I thought this would make a good background because it's kind of the same shape as the YouTube emblem. While I was there, I also picked a lovely ripe apple for later. So just using an ordinary handsaw, I cut off a slice from the end of the apple tree log, just a thin slice, perhaps about 2 centimetres thick. This is from an apple tree that's been cut down because it was diseased, but that disease has given the apple tree log a kind of brown stain in the middle of the wood, which is quite interesting. And while all this was happening, of course, my subscriber count was just ticking over the 500,000. Then I spent an afternoon wandering down Netley Shore at Royal Victoria Country Park. This is a piece of coast that's closest to where I live. And I spent a little bit of time just sitting and enjoying the apple that I picked earlier. Eva always pesters me when I go to the beach because she loves for me to throw a stone, which she then chases, and often she'll just dig a hole for it and bury it. On that beach I found some lovely big cuttle bones, which is the internal skeleton of dead cuttlefish. Cuttlefish are really common in the Southampton water. Back at home, I selected the biggest 2 cuttlefish bones and I cut the ends off to make 2 nice pieces. I sanded them flat just so that they fit together nicely. The cuttlefish bone carves with any kitchen implements, in fact, so I carved it with my own chisels but also with kitchen knives, and you can just almost cut it with your fingernail. So I cut a triangle into one piece, and into the other piece I drilled a hole perpendicular to the back of the triangle. I took a pewter mug that I got from a charity shop. It was 50p actually because it had a huge dent in it. It's vintage but not valuable. It has the advantage of melting at quite a low temperature, so it can be melted in an ordinary saucepan over a gas flame. Obviously I don't use this saucepan now for anything other than melting pewter. I poured the liquid pewter into the void inside the cuttlefish bones. The cuttlefish bone's got a weird internal structure that's layered a bit like an onion really, and that texture will come through in the cast piece. What comes out at the end is a fairly rough casting that needs a little bit of finishing with sandpaper and files, and I also polished it with some steel wool on the front surface. And then I just applied some oil to the slice of tree that I'd cut and sanded smooth. While I was putting the oil away, I'd left the camera running, and I didn't notice until afterwards there was a tiny beetle sitting on my workbench that I think I'd probably trapped under my hand, but happy to say that it recovered and flew away. I then applied some natural wax to the oiled tree slice, which gave it a kind of soft sheen. It's not completely glossy, got a nice slight shine to it. I drilled a hole in the centre of the log slice, using the same drill bit that I used to make the hole in opposite the triangle in the pewter casting, so that the cast pewter piece was a tight push fit into the hole in the log, which was great. I didn't need to use any glue or anything to secure that. So that's the finished play button. It's a kind of nearly rectangular slice of apple tree log that's got a lovely honey golden colour. The finished cast piece of pewter has picked up the texture of the cuttlebone, and it's got a surface texture that looks like overlapping layers or ridges that are slightly wavy and very uniform and regular, which is very decorative. So that's my play button for 500k. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.